In February 2018, Indonesian police boarded a yacht anchored off the coast of Bali. $250 million. A helipad, a cinema, a spa, a crew of 22 people. The owner was not on board. He has not been seen in public since. The boat was paid for with money taken from a Malaysian government fund, a fund that was supposed to build power plants. Most Malaysians will not earn in a lifetime what that yacht cost to fuel for a month. This gets told as a heist. A charming criminal, a stolen fortune, a disappearance. That version is true. It's also the least important part. Because on the 26th of December 2025, a court in Malaysia convicted a former prime minister on all 25 charges he faced and sentenced him to 15 more years in prison and fines of over 13 billion ringgit. He was already in a cell. This was the second time. The money was never the story. What the money did to a country was. In 2009, Malaysia set up a sovereign development fund called One Malaysia Development Berhad, 1MDB. The purpose was ordinary: attract foreign investment, build power plants and infrastructure, move an economy built on oil and palm oil towards something else. Dozens of countries run funds exactly like this. Norway has one, Singapore has two. The new prime minister puts his name behind it. Najib Razak was the son of Malaysia's second prime minister, groomed for the job since he was a young man. And he had just taken office that April. He was prime minister. He was also finance minister. And he chaired 1MDB's board of advisors. 3 roles, 1 man. Remember that, because 17 years later, a judge would say it aloud in a sentencing statement. This is Joe Low. Penang, wealthy family, boarding school in England, Wharton School in Pennsylvania. By his mid-20s, he was moving between Kuala Lumpur, Abu Dhabi, and New York, introducing people to other people. Here is the detail that matters. Joe Low held no position at 1MDB. No title, no office, no salary, no signature over anything. US prosecutors would later call him the architect of the entire scheme. He has always denied wrongdoing. Read those 2 names. Take a second. The first one is real. Abar Investments PJS is a subsidiary of the International Petroleum Investment Company, the sovereign fund of Abu Dhabi. Serious institution, serious money. Exactly the kind of partner a young development fund wants standing behind it. The second one was registered in the British Virgin Islands. It had no connection to Abu Dhabi at all. According to the US Department of Justice, it was created and named specifically to give the impression that it did. One word. That's the whole trick. In 2012, Goldman Sachs arranged bond sales for 1MDB, guaranteed by the real Abu Dhabi fund. Roughly $1.37 billion of the money raised was transferred to a Swiss bank account belonging to the fake one. Prosecutors say it moved from there into accounts controlled by an associate of Low, and then outward. Nobody signing off on those wires had to be corrupt. They only had to not read carefully. The same technique was used again. Another shell was named Blackstone Asia Real Estate Partners, close enough to a famous American firm that a compliance officer glancing at a transfer wouldn't assume it was them. Between 2012 and 2013, Goldman Sachs arranged 3 bond issues for 1MDB. $1.75 billion in May 2012, another $1.7 billion that October, $3 billion in March 2013, $6.5 billion raised in under a year. For arranging them, Goldman earned approximately $600 million in fees. Malaysia's Attorney General later stated plainly that this exceeded market rates and industry norms. To put it in the terms of viewer can feel, this was close to 10% on work that normally earns a fraction of 1. In 2020, Goldman Sachs admitted to a conspiracy to violate American anti-bribery law. Its Malaysian subsidiary pleaded guilty. The bank paid billions in penalties across multiple jurisdictions. 2 of its bankers, Tim Leisner and Roger Ng, faced criminal prosecution. Leisner pleaded guilty, and of the $6.5 billion raised, prosecutors traced more than $2.5 billion straight out of the fund. The spending is the part everyone remembers, so we will go quickly. A $250 million super yacht called Equanimity, paintings by Monet, Van Gogh, and Picasso, a stake in the Manhattan Hotel, jewelry, private jets, parties in Las Vegas and St. Tropez with musicians flown in, and a film production company called Red Granite Pictures, which in 2013 financed a movie about a financial criminal who steals a fortune and spends it on parties and yachts. The Wolf of Wall Street was partly funded with stolen money. That's not a metaphor a writer invented. That's the actual sequence of events. So far, this is a heist. A man outside the system found a way to move money out of it and spent it the way you would expect. Except, in 2013, more than 1 billion ringgit landed in the personal bank accounts of the Prime Minister of Malaysia. When the transfers were reported, the explanation offered was that the money was a gift from the Saudi royal family, a donation. Malaysia held a general election in May 2013, and this is where the story stops being about theft and starts being about a state, because a heist takes money out of a country. This money went out and then came back in and went to work. On the 26th of December 2025, after a trial that ran for 7 years and 302 hearing days, the High Court convicted Najib Razak on 4 counts of abuse of power and 21 counts of money laundering, involving 2.3 billion ringgit of 1MDB funds, around $569 million. The judge said Najib had held 3 positions at once and used all 3 to push the fund into transactions with what he called unholy haste. He noted the absence of remorse. 15 years, to begin after the sentence he is already serving. Fines of over 13 billion ringgit. Najib has appealed. He has denied wrongdoing throughout. None of this was supposed to become public. Malaysia became independent in 1957. From that year onward, the country was governed by one coalition. There were elections, opposition parties, parliamentary seats that changed hands, but the governing coalition never once lost power. Not in 1969, not in 1990, not in 2008. 61 years. On the 9th of May 2018, it lost. And the money who led the opposition that beat them was Mahathir Mohamad, who had been prime minister for 22 years, who had led that same coalition, and who was 92 years old. 92! He came out of retirement to run against the party he had built on the strength of a scandal about a sovereign fund, and he won. Here is where everyone stands now. Najib Razak is in Kajang prison. He has been there since August 2022. His first sentence, 12 years for misappropriating funds from a former 1MDB subsidiary, was halved to 6 by a pardons board in 2024. In December 2025, a court rejected his attempt to serve the rest at home. In April 2026, he withdrew the appeal. His second sentence, the 15 years, has not started yet. Goldman Sachs paid. Malaysia changed government twice over. And Joe Low, the man prosecutors describe as the architect of it all, has never been arrested. An Interpol red notice was issued for him in 2018. He has been placed in Macau, then mainland China. Governments deny knowing where he is. He denies wrongdoing. The country changed its government. The bank paid its fine. The prime minister is in a cell. The man at the center of it has never spent a night in custody. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.